Share more of that with you. But of course, June is Youth Month, and the scourge of alcohol and substance abuse has reached high proportions in South Africa, especially among young people. And even though the country has established early intervention centres to ensure substance users receive treatment and rehabilitation services, the use of high-level concoctions such as nyaope, dagga and heroine have had negative results for many users. Bheki Myende started using drugs at the age of 16 and was fortunate to receive help to break away from his addiction. So to talk to us more about the dangers of drug use and the psychological impact for young people, we're joined now by Bheki Myende, who now counsels young people at schools and rehabilitation facilities. Bheki, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Good to have you with us.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Bheki?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great stuff. So, Bheki, your journey with drugs started when you were only 16 years old. But let's start by looking at what exactly it was that drove you to use.
There are so many things that can drive you to smoke drugs these days, because I think it's a father figure, number one. My father was not in the picture, and the poverty and the peer pressure. Because when you saw some other guy smoking drugs, and especially when you are in location, you want to join, you want to fit in. It's like it's a status, for everyone is doing it. So you want to join because you don't know what to do, because there was no sports, there were no... We started in school. When you bang the school, you go and steal. And it started there. You want to be in the mix of people in location. You see other people smoking drugs. It's normal.
And when you say...
No, sell it, and it's there in corner, and then he's smoking it, and that guy to that house is selling.
And then, all of us who've grown up in townships know this. I can hear you, Bheki. We know, those little gangs, those little cliques around the corner who stand there smoking. But, is there at any point anyone in those groups who tries not to participate? And if you try to resist, what are the repercussions?
Hey, when you try to resist, you see now you feel like they call you impata. You are a nyoni, you don't belong to location, because in location everybody's doing these kind of things, and then you think you are better than other people, and you think you are so educated. And there are those guys who are not smoking drugs in location. There are so many, and they are focused in schools. And you see, when you are inside, and it's very hard to come out. You wish you are those guys when you are in trouble.
So, Bheki, you spoke about poverty as one of the driving factors. But if you are poverty-stricken, how then do you afford these drugs that you use?
When you smoke drugs, you started to steal. You need to maintain drugs, because drugs... it's very easy when you are coming inside, because they give you for free. It's like now everything is good, everything is for free. But when you get hooked, they started to leave you. It's when now you started now to make a plan, because now you are addicted. Your body cannot function without drugs, so you need drugs to function. Even to start the day, you need to fix. So now you started to steal in a house. Me, I joined the gang in those days, because we used to shoplifting. So it was easy for us, because we have money to smoke drugs. And you graduate also there.
Speak to us about that. When you say you graduate, so we've always heard that dagga, for example, is a gateway drug. But, speak to us about that progression. How do you graduate? What sort of drugs then do you graduate to?
Yeah, you see, dagga, when you smoke dagga, you started now to graduate to Mendrex or to any other drugs like crystal meth or nyaope. You find another high. You become higher than before. So now you started to want it to get more higher. You think that you were wasting your time the time you were smoking dagga. You see, you were delaying you, because now when you smoke a mandrex, you get another higher. You become higher than the Most High God. And then so now you graduate to mandrex, and then you want to test another thing, and then I graduate to crack cocaine. Crack cocaine, there's no you don't mix dagga, you don't mix cigarette. It's just a rock. It's like a rock, and then you're only using a pipe. So now you see that there is no smoke, and that one is taking you to another place. You become higher in such a way. You become a master pretender.
I'm fascinated by this, and I really want you to talk to us about this. When, these highs, manic highs that you speak about, what does that feel like? I hear people using terms like you're tripping. What does that actually feel like?
Yeah, you feel good, I'm telling you. You become higher, and you forget your worries. You gain confidence, but for a few hours. Until they calm down or the hangover leaves you, you're feeling worse than before. It's like an eat some more, you want it more. And you always want to face. You see people who smoke drugs, I think they are cowards. They don't know face life. That's what I noticed since I canceled so many people, and since even in me, I know because I was there. So it's easy for me to recognize that, no, you need to face life now, my brother. There is a life after drugs.
And Bheki, you are the founder of the Bheki Myende Foundation, where you now work with young people at correctional services. You work with schools and rehabilitation centers. What do you want to tell young people about the use and the abuse of drugs, and also a drug like alcohol, which it seems like many of our young people today have a very unhealthy relationship with alcohol?
Yeah, alcohol and drugs. These are the friends. I think these are the family. They are work together because it's everywhere now, especially in alcohol. You see, you when you are in alcohol, there are names: Johnny Walker, Remy Martin, this and this. So you changing names in alcohol. It's also a drug. You see, when you are in alcohol, especially when we used to drink alcohol, they used to sell us another drugs that is mixed with alcohol that is called ecstasy. So ecstasy in Zulu, they call it umgwinyo, especially in Durban. There's a lot of drug that is called ecstasy. That one, you just drink it and you drink water. And you can wait and you can hear your legs started now to trembling. Yeah, it's working like that. It can make you to dance the whole night. You can sweat and you're dancing the whole night. That one is working with the music. That's an ecstasy. And a crack cocaine it doesn't want to have noise. You see? And a nyaope, you can go outside. That one is making you to work so hard. That is the cheapest drug, nyaope, because it's 25 rand.
So, it's just such an eye-opener listening to you speak about the different psychological impacts and the effects that these drugs have on users, because very often the families are left, having to deal with the impact of these the addicts in their families and the drugs that they use. What would you like to say to not only young people who may be starting out, who may be under pressure to start, those, who are already in it, and of course the families as well?
It's so sad, because when you go to prison now, you find out in trials, especially in Sun City, in B2, there are a lot of guys like Krugersdorp prison. There's no place for sleeping. Others, they are sleeping in toilets. And you see, you need to maintain drugs first, because you started there to smoke drugs, and then you steal, and then you go to prison. And prison are full. now, and these guys, they get sentenced at the early age, they leave the school, they steal into their houses, and their families are so heartbroken, especially the parents. I used to gather all the parents every in March. I gather the mothers of these babies because I know they are so wounded because they lost everything, and their furnitures, their pots, they sell these things to the community, and the community also buy these things, and they know that these guys smoking drugs, and the community also support the habit of buying the things to the guys who's selling drugs. Can you imagine when someone is selling you a plasma, a big TV, and you know that this guy is smoking nyaope, and you know it's not working? Definitely, you know that this guy is stealing this TV, and then you buy it. So you are supporting. Even the community also need to be involved, because these things are hurting our community, and we lost so many kids and through drugs, and some of them, they are in prison, some of them, they are dead 6 feet under, some of the guys, they are sleeping on the street because their families, they chase them away, even the community. Some of them, get banned by the community. So, you know, it's a war. It's a war. We are facing a war. This is more than a pandemic. This is more than corona, because now it's affecting every house and every community in every street. Especially here in Soweto, we have 56 locations. And in every location, we have 3 territories of drugs, people who are selling drugs. And we know these people who sell drugs, and it's very hard to fight them. As we are the organization, Bheki Myende Foundation, it's not easy to fight the people who sell drugs. We only take those who say, I am tired, I need help, and then we refer them to rehabs. And then after rehabs, they are coming back to the same community, and the community still chase them away, and they don't know what to do because there's no aftercare. You see?
So just the final word, Bheki, for people to perhaps try to help them to quit, because this is often the struggle for families. What can be done?
Yeah, it's to ask the organization that you see now it's been 7 years. I'm taking people to rehabs, and as a spiritual worker, yeah. But now as an organization, we need just the support. If they can support our organizations, there are a lot of organizations who don't get funding, and they're doing so much. Especially here in Dube, there's an organization that is called Livelihood. There's a Kacheng. There are so many organizations that we met in rehabs, and when we check, there's no support, especially aftercare. What we need is the aftercare, where we can take the guys to the aftercare is at least for 6 months period to prepare them to go back to the community that they steal their stuff. You see, now we need to prepare them with the education like this APTW or CWP, we can take them to plumbing, we can take them to, you see, when you have something value, you can see that there is life after drugs. But now when they come back to rehab, they don't know what to do. They're still going to stay in that corner, and their parents, they don't want to forgive them because they are still angry with those things that they lost. You see, there are so many things that they make these guys to relapse. So sometimes you can take one guy 2 times in rehab.
You know what, Bheki, I think this is not a one-take conversation. I think we need to talk about this a little more because, as you say, this is a pandemic in and of itself. But we'll park it here for this morning. Thank you so much, Bheki Myende, the founder of the Bheki Myende Foundation, and talking to us about the impact of drug use and dependency and the impact that it has on young people.
It is just a conversation that is absolutely frightening. It really, really is. And it's just becoming, as Bheki said, it's worse than corona. This is a pandemic that we are living with on a daily basis in our homes. All right, let's get into